Hello everyone and welcome back to another must-see chess game by Paul Morphy once again. So in this chess game we have Paul Morphy with the white pieces and his opponent was Jose Sicre, a chess player from Cuba, and this chess game was played in Havana, Cuba, and this was a blindfolded chess game. Morphy was blindfolded against 10 chess players simultaneously according to some resources, and this game was played in 1862, a pretty interactive chess game. So Morphy starts the game with e4, we have e6 and then the French defense. So exchange variation of the French defense, knight to f3, bishop to d6, and developing the pieces. Both players castled, knight to c3, c6, pinning the knight, bishop to g4, and Morphy is asking a question, and in here Jose Sicre played a bad move. He captured the knight, bishop takes on f3, but bishop to h5 was more common and better, so this should have been considered, and in here giving up the bishop for no reason, queen takes on f3, so developing the knight, and then rook over, queen to c7, unpinning the knight, and then g4, exclamation point, very aggressive, quick attacking move. Morphy is not hiding his cards. He clearly shows his intention to attack his opponent in the king side. So rook over, but even though black wants to fight for the open file, Morphy played a pretty accurate move, bishop to e3. Now he has a threat in this position. Can you see the threat in here? So this was an accurate move. Morphy's threat is g5. And where is the knight going after g5? So we have king to h8. But let's play a random move. If a6 then g5. Black is very cramped. So if knight to e4, the only safe spot for the knight, then we capture the knight and basically white is winning a pawn. And this is 1.5 points advantage for white, and white is better. So after bishop to e3, Morphy is threatening to push the pawn, and we have king to h8, but Morphy still pushed the pawn g5. And this is one of the only safe spots for the knight, and black has poor piece coordination. Basically Morphy captures on f7. As you can see, the knight is blocking the queen. So rook to e7, rook says you don't belong in here, and Morphy says okay, then I will checkmate your king. How about that? So how to checkmate, how to defend the king now? Knight to f8, this is actually the only defense, the only logical defense in this position, because if g6, then simply bishop takes on g6, the pawn is pinned. So Morphy is threatening checkmate. Knight is defending, but this was a very passive looking move, and Morphy played queen to g4 and knight to e6. Now why Jose Sicre played knight to e6? This is question mark, because actually white has a pretty strong move here. Knight to e6 was actually losing one more pawn. Black missed this big time. Black missed this move. Can you see white's next move? Bishop takes on h7. But black's knight on f8 was very passive and back, and it was bad. Stuck on f8, babysitting on h7. The g knight was also bad, being boxed in on g8, so black wanted to activate at least one of his knights with all his good intentions and wishful thinking, but he is losing one more pawn, as Morphy almost never misses any opportunities, even when he was blindfolded. So we have knight to f6. Black is lost here, being 2 pawns down, and he tries some cheapo against Paul Morphy with opening the g file and hoping that he will have a winning attack, but with accurate defense this loses a piece simply, so Morphy captured. But how about after bishop takes on h7, what happens if king takes bishop, then queen to h5, only defense, this is the only legal move, and then we capture the knight and white is 2 pawns up. So this is easily winning for white. So in here we have knight to f6. But there is a bad news. Morphy defended very accurately while having conversation with bunch of ladies and gentlemen, according to one of the eyewitnesses who was there in this 10-board chess simul. Later he mentioned that in his writings. So basically black's idea is this: he wants to open the g file and then pin the queen to the king. So the g file is open and black has rooks, so rook to g7 seems intimidating, and this is also attacking the bishop. So it looks scary, but Morphy, according to Morphy, there is no problem. Bishop to g6 blocking, rook to g7. By the way, you might also ask what happens if rook to g8, then king to h1, and white has enough time to play this move, unpinning and winning. So if this move, then check, and this is bad news. So bishop to g6, rook to g7, and then queen to h5, king to g8, and king to h1. Unpinning, and Morphy quickly extricates himself. So knight to f8 and bishop to f5, bishop to f4, rook to g1, and using the open g file for the attack now. So bishop takes on e3, f takes, and now what? We have rook to g5. So if rook takes on g1, then rook takes, and queen to g7, and then capturing the queen. So after rook to g5, Morphy played a very cool move, h4. So the rook is pinned. I mean, you can't capture on the sides. So knight to h7. If rook takes on g1, then rook takes on g1, check. And where is the king going? So if queen to g7, rook takes on g7. So in here, if rook to g7, then rook takes, king takes, rook to g1, and then this is also losing. So okay, knight to h7, and then capturing the rook, and then simply rook takes on g5. Now the stage is set for ending this, launching the final attack to finish off his opponent, a hammer blow. The rook knocks the head of the knight, and then rook to g1, and black resigned. There is no sensible defense against rook takes, and basically in here white is 2 pieces up. Very accurate chess by Paul Morphy while when he was blindfolded, while having some conversation with bunch of ladies and gentlemen. Interesting, isn't it? So in here, let's say if trying to flee for prolonging the inevitable ending, well, actually this is not skewering the rook and the king, this is actually winning the queen by force. So check, king goes up, and then capturing the queen. So in here, if queen to f7, just for fun, then rook takes, and then check. This is very forced actually. So check, and then pinning and winning, easily winning. So okay, what do you think? I hope you have enjoyed watching this chess game by Paul Morphy, and I hope to see you next time. So take care and bye bye.